So we're going to be 2 seconds. Got it. It is. Hey, everybody, TGIF. It is Friday, and in Chicagoland, it is warm and sunny. No, I'm just kidding. It's sunny. It's beautifully sunny outside, okay? And the reflection of the snow outside is actually giving us more like beautiful sunlight, which is shining in the window, which is right behind me. So I'm so excited because you know what? Here's the thing. Lori and I had started this platform, gosh, 2.5 years ago, whatever it is, been closer to 3 ago, who knows? It's been such a great journey. And what's been so fun about it is that because here we are on Facebook, I'm in Chicagoland, Lori's in Chicagoland, but we have a guest that's not even in Chicagoland, not even in the US, you guys. She's out of the country, technically, okay? And we're so excited because we're able to do this. We're able to bring people to you, bring people of value to you, and have so much fun. So with that, I'm going to turn it right over to Lori and go, Laura, how are you doing today?
Okay, just, it's really cold out there, but that's a reason to stay in and keep warm. But you know what? After you hear this interview today and listen to this girl, your heart is going to be warmer than warm. She just has a way. She's such a vibrant person. Well, I met this girl on Facebook. For some reason, I had her Facebook page and I started reading up about her, and I'm like, oh, I called Debbie up and I'm like, Debbie, we got to get this girl on for an interview. This girl's amazing. She's just like us. So I'm going to introduce you. Her name is Sonya Janisee, and she's a designer. She designs your life with she's an accountability coach. She's an NLP, an HWL, a PTS, and she has a business, sorry, I can't talk, must be because of cold, Fresh Approach Fitness and Wellness Company. And she's an author, a podcaster, and a certified coach. With that, without further ado, Sonya, how are you today? And welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you both for the beautiful, lovely, warm welcome. And warm, I have to tap in here because being from St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada, which is southwest of Toronto, if you're looking at the map with north being north, it is -14 Celsius. Just to put things into perspective. Yeah. So your warm welcome was warm. It was lovely. And I am doing fantastic today. Thank you so much for the invite to be here.
So, we hear so much, we know so much, we look at your Facebook page and stuff. Just tell us, like, really honestly, where'd you come from and how did you get to where you are? And I know that's a lot, okay, but do the best you can to kind of give us a good, like, overview.
Okay, so born and raised in the small town that I'm actually in right now. It was about 30,000 people at the time. And then my parents moved us out to the country, between this small town to a smaller small town where there was one set of traffic lights. But yet we're in the country. Okay, so you're kind of learning, if you want to maintain the friendships that you have built at this point for all of your life, you got to know who those people are that you want to keep in touch with, but you need to know who you are first. So you fast forward a little bit and I get pregnant, I get married, and yeah, that order. And then I moved away because I didn't care. It was life and there's so much I hadn't explored yet. So I moved to Toronto for a little bit. I had all my kids in Alberta, and then I moved to Aurelia for 14 years. Well, 6 years ago, I moved back home to my roots. My parents are still, I chose to come home to a town where there's 40,000 people. And it's the best thing I've ever done. I took a leap of faith that year. I had given my 2 months notice without having a place to go. This was the first time I believed in myself, 100%. And this was 6 years ago. After my second divorce, after I picked myself up from so much life that we're not prepared for. So I bought my first house in my own name 6 years ago, super stoked about that, with the intention of running personal training classes in the basement, working with clients, and that's exactly what I did. And COVID hit. So my little basement studio turned into a studio where I was training 23 fitness classes a week, and COVID hit. And once again, I had to pivot. And as we get older, we don't always have the strength, nor the energy, nor the desire to want to pivot anymore. I mean, think of it. How many people stay in a job because they're complacent? or the money's good, or they think they're safe, or they do the same thing in a relationship for the same reasons. So we become complacent because it's a little bit hard, but we can do hard things, but we're so sick of doing hard things.
Yeah.
So COVID hit, no more personal training. I transitioned everything to my certifications as an NLP, which is the retraining your thoughts, is what that does. And life coach, where I'm really keeping those friendships, those relationships, but to a deeper level, and helping people put themselves first, helping them keep their promises to themselves so they can be a better person for those people they choose to stay in connection with and in their life with. So it's really about designing your life your way. As your accountability coach, I help you keep the promises you make to yourself. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell, kind of.
Well, but then I also know there's a side of you that you're very competitive, okay? And we talked about your medals before and talked about your running. Tell us about that, because you also had some injury and there's a lot of stuff you'd be able to overcome. I mean, you talk about this, but like this feeds into what you can do to help others get through this.
Yeah, and so I think that's fantastic how you brought that up, because we talked about my journey and what brought me here, but there's so many ways you can interpret that, and I took one direction and there are so many other directions. So by you clarifying that, that's a very key coachable moment right there. You don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't gone through this before. If you have, it's going to seem easier than it is, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be afraid to be course corrected. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So we were chatting off screen about, I don't know how it came about, am I a runner? But it came up, and I was talking about how I have these medals and I'm aspiring to get back to it. So when I was teaching those fitness classes, I had also decided that I was going to start running again. This part I didn't share. So I started running in my 36, 37. So I'm 50 this year. This
Wow.
is February 3rd, 2023, who's ever catching this, and I'll be 50 in July. So I was in my mid to late 30s when I decided, yeah, I need to do something different about my life. I wasn't smiling. I wasn't happy. I didn't like the look or shape of me. And there were a few pictures that I tried to convince myself that was more real me than the other pictures. But no, at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I wasn't smiling. My marriage wasn't in a good spot. I didn't like my job. And the only thing I liked coming home to were my 3 kids. And they were exhausting. I had to clean up dinner and put them to bed and do it all over again. There wasn't anything I was liking. So my job, I decided to go for walks on my lunches. And then I decided to start running from mailbox to mailbox and challenging myself a little bit. And then I started joining the running group. And when I was 37, I was winning medals for the top in my age group, second or third. I was never first place. I was always second or third place in my age group. And I had medals not just for participating, but for achieving success like nobody else within a 10-year age gap. And that's incredible for somebody who never thought she could do something. This was before my ankle injuries.
Oh.
Okay, so then I was doing triathlons because I love to swim and I like to bike, and some of these things I just infused into my life. So we fast forward to when I'm teaching all those fitness classes. This was a year after. So the year before, between Father's Day in June and Thanksgiving, our Canadian Thanksgiving in August, so about 5 months there, I had done 2 10-kilometer races, 2 5-kilometer races, a 60K bike ride, and a triathlon. And I was teaching all those classes. And then I was in physio for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
But here's a really good point. It just goes to show anybody that if you put your mind to it, it doesn't matter how old you are, that you can achieve, and you said, you get second and third place, you didn't get first, but it doesn't matter. You achieved that, I mean, someone else maybe outran you or whatever, but that's okay. Kudos to them. But you did what you did. You did your best for you,
There was a day, just on that note, I remember this vividly because I never thought I was going to get anything. I was ending my second race. So in Aurelia, which is north of Toronto, there's something called the Snowflake Series. And my first time doing it, I didn't qualify, and I didn't realize until afterwards. So how to qualify is you have to run a 5K. So 3 5Ks and a 10K. One of the 5Ks is after the new year, the 10K is on New Year's, and the 2 5s you're dealing with November and December. So it's like November, December, January, February. The snowflake series, you have no idea what you're getting when you say yes. If you don't do all 4, you don't qualify. So whether or not you're a runner, you can probably appreciate that there's nothing that sucks more than to going to where you could cross the finish line, but not being able to do and having to do it all over again. Like mentally, that sucks. Like I would rather out and back versus repeats. Repeaters are hard mentally because you're right there at the finish line, but you're not. Okay. So it's like it's a tease. So that year was the first year I did it. And I remember vividly that actually this was the second year. The first year I did it, I got second place and I was super ecstatic. The third year I did this, because the first year I didn't qualify because I didn't do the 10K. The third year I did the Snowflake series, I was finishing the second heat, which was the 10K. It must have been the 10K on, oh, I forgot to tell you, the 10K is always on New Year's. Okay, so I was finishing this, but there was a Hail Mary. Like there was no way I was going to win anything. The people in front of me were too far ahead, or the person in front of me, the gap was too big that it wasn't a matter of seconds. It was, oh my goodness, like there's no way you're going to win this, or you're even going to get into the top. Well, here's the difference. When race day came the next time, and this was our very last event of the series, I know it was a 5K, so it must have been after the 10. And because I remember it was the very last one, -19 Celsius, a total snowstorm with wind and ice blowing everywhere.
Oh my God.
So I show up with ski goggles on and layers and layers and layers. And at every corner, I start stripping. But I left my ski goggles on so I could see clearly. And I got third place that year for my age. And I couldn't believe it because I hadn't qualified the week before because I showed up.
Yeah. Half the battle is showing up. Half the battle is showing up to whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. And we don't realize the results we get. And I talked about this today on my live, but we don't realize the results we get when we do show up. Right. We have no clue. Like I went to try on some dresses yesterday and I go to grab a large and the lady's like, no, they're too big on you. You need a medium. And I'm like, ooh. But it's that simple. It is truly that simple. All of a sudden, there's a change.
Right. So you're so inspiring. Tell us a little bit about what you offer to other people through even online and stuff, because that's another cool thing.
Okay, thank you. I do workshops. So last weekend, I did a free workshop, Healthy Eating on a Budget. The link is still available in my my link tree, which I know we'll end up sharing, but you can still register and just get the recording. It's completely free. So I do free workshops every once in a while. I work with companies. This is the cool piece. And Lori, I don't remember if you remember this, but I actually go and work with the HR teams and I present my workplace wellness solutions about employee empowerment with companies.
Wow.
So think about learning your energy type, thinking about learning how to plan your day based on the personality that you have. Think about how to plan and how to be more confident and how to be more creative and how to learn to speak your voice. When you understand whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, or when you start to believe that you're worth keeping your promises to.
That's really cool.
So I do that on the corporate level and I do that on the individual level through a group I'm rolling out. Yeah.
And is that something that you can even accomplish on Zoom? Because like, remember, people are everywhere these days. The one good thing, unfortunately, through COVID and through the lockdowns and everything, we have learned that this is a great way, obviously. Look at us talking here, like just like we're on, having a cup of coffee.
I deal with clients international. I have some in Australia. I have some in England. I have some in New Zealand. I have them across US and Canada. I have a few that come into my home office.
Okay.
A few locals that will do a walk and talk with me as their therapy, as their coaching.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and let me ask you this too. I hate to keep bulleting you questions, but what would be your age factor? Like, do you work with children and adults and elderly, or do you kind of zone in a certain kind of,
It's a great question. I don't do a lot of work with children.
Okay.
Really. I have had mothers and daughters come in and the workbook, that I created. I'm doing a selfish plug here, which is available on YouTube or on Amazon, and I've created a
Ooh,
course for it.
wonderful.
This is about self-love, self-awareness. So
Wonderful.
a teenage girl will benefit from this. A teenage
Mhm,
girl will benefit from this course, but so will
mhm.
a 45 and so will a 65-year-old.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because we go through different stages where that self-love and that self-worth is shooken up,
Right, right,
right?
right.
But the
That's
majority of my clientele, the people that would be showing up at the workshops, the people that would be wanting to reach out for coaching are typically 40 to 55 females,
mhm,
juggling all the things. I can't say they always have kids or they're always in a relationship, but their job is demanding, their career is demanding, they're still wearing multiple hats. Like I've coached all of those things where some people don't even have 5 minutes for themselves. And then some people are super hyper focused that they're on such a deadline that they miss the obvious all around them.
wow.
That is amazing. Now, would you like for when you do the companies and stuff, would you do that like via Zoom or yeah?
Both. I do both. I've done in person, I've gone to different locations and I've done a complete workshop with healthy eating on a budget. We're teaching people how to make ideas in Tex-Mex soup or Tex-Mex salad and actually delivering the food and making it right in front of them. I've gone that far to personal training on site, but I do both. I honestly do both Zoom and in person, depending on where you are in the world. And Chicago's not that far, ladies.
No, it's not.
I actually drove through it last year. I took my youngest daughter for a road trip. Last year, I wanted to explore more. One of my goals was to explore more. It was as vague as that. And I ended up taking my youngest daughter, who ironically enough is literally just calling right now, as I said her name. Ironically, we drove cross country from where we live in southwestern Ontario to Edmonton, Alberta, but we drove stateside, the two of us.
Oh,
So we went through Chicago, we ended up going through North Dakota, we ended up going through Minnesota, we ended up going through all of these different states that we had never been to.
Oh, what?
awesome.
We got caught in a snowstorm at the end of April in North Dakota.
Oh boy.
So we had experiences. We saw the bean in Chicago. So for me to hop on a plane, a train, or go for a car ride to present something I'm passionate about, that's cool.
Yeah.
If you like my energy over Zoom, you should see it in person.
I can only imagine. I mean, it's fantastic. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I was watching some of your stuff today, this morning, and how motivated you are every day and all your posts and how you do those live presentations. And it's like you're talking your best friend on there. I mean, that's the connection that you make people like they're your best friend. And that is just absolutely amazing. That's the way we and Debbie want to be with our people when we talk to our guests or any of our people is we want to talk like, we're among best friends. And that's a great connection you have with people.
Thank you. And people feel it. Like you're just saying, Lori, people feel that when you just show up and you're natural,
Right.
people feel it. So, then sometimes you get in your head, well, you put makeup on and you look good today. Does that mean you're not natural? No, I'm actually in my natural state. This makes me feel good. This is why I do it. The reflection is now smiling. So natural and chiming in and turning yes to your phone is completely different than not being connected to the true version of who you are.
Right.
It's great.
Well, your whole story is so powerful. I want to encourage everybody that's listening in today to share this and also to go research more and dig in more to what you do. Your Facebook site, your Instagram, all your stuff that you have that you said you're going to provide for us, which is awesome. And just put it on the link. As everybody knows, we always go ahead, and this is always up on our group Facebook for the health and wellness of you, as well as our YouTube, which we will turn this into a YouTube as well so that we can share it. It's great for you to use. It's great for other people to look at it again. And man, you're motivating me for my Friday, but I love, what I love is what you talk about every day of the week. Do you mind telling everybody real quick? It was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's actually a back end story to that too. This was during COVID and I was talking to another coach, because I truly believe every coach needs a coach and every therapist needs a therapist. And we should always be working with somebody, right? So I was trying to get bodies into my weight loss challenge. I just didn't get people energized and ready to go and ready to make that commitment on themselves. And I was getting frustrated. He's like, well, just go live every day. I'm like, and talk about it every day. And he's like, every day. And I'm like, okay. So I started from there. And then Jay Shetty has put together an amazing presentation. And I forget what it's called, but I do have the link for it. It became like, it reached record numbers on Facebook, and I just shared it the other day. But it's about why are we waiting all week to try to have enjoyment in 2 days?
Yeah.
When we're too tired to have enjoyment on those 2 days. We're too tired to enjoy the people around us. So that, I loved what he had said there, and then it took me a year or two to find it. And then I was like, okay, but it always stuck with me. So then I started doing motivation on Monday, transformation Tuesday, wellness Wednesday, thankful Thursday, and check-in Friday.
Love
And
it.
they're not the same, but the one thing you get on check-in Friday is you check in with yourself, and I share with you what my wins were for the week. So in the areas of meals, movement, mindset, and your relationship with money, which is stress,
Yeah.
AKA stress, right? So how
Mhm.
did I grow? How did I change? Where was I aware this week? Did I make conscious choices or unconscious choices? Am I happy with it? Am I in scarcity mindset or abundance mindset? Did I realize, because this morning, and this was a good example, I was thinking about doing yoga because yesterday I didn't really do anything besides a walk. And I was thinking that I needed to do more. Remember yesterday, I don't know if I told you ladies, but I had the win with the dresses where I was down to a medium, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, but I need to work out more. I need to work out more. And then I'm like, well, I just had success. Do I really? Is what I've done enough? And we don't ever stop and realize that. So when I put everything together in big picture on my check-in Friday, I'm like, no, I actually did 4 days of working out so far. That is enough. That doesn't speak to Friday or Saturday. That is enough. As it is, I am getting results doing that. So why would I worry about more when that is good? That is slow and steady progress. And whatever the change is that you're looking for, that's what you want.
That's phenomenal. And you can take everything you just said, and you said weight loss, or you said this, you said that. It could be in different areas, like you have talked about,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I show up every day and talk about that, and all of mine are on YouTube for the last year and a bit. So you can go and catch them all on my YouTube channel.
Fantastic.
I also do interviews like this, but they're called a heart to heart for my podcast.
Oh,
So
wow.
any of my heart to hearts are on YouTube. So I did one this week as well. But there are other words, I'm like 138 episodes into my audio podcast.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So now I see, Lori, why you say so much that you are so much like us, because we've been, it's just crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to have Lori close us out, but I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. And thank you for touching our lives and all the people that have listened to this. And I feel like we're going to talk more. I know we're going to interchange a lot of subjects, and we're going to be in touch. So definitely, Lori, if you want to close us out.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Sonya, for just being you and being our sunshine today on a cold day. So with that, everyone, look at our information. We're going to post all of it, and everyone have a good day and stay warm. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.